Sup guys, so in this video we shall look into the user defined functions part 2. In the last session we have seen user defined functions with positional arguments and keyword arguments, right? So in this session we shall learn about something called as defining functions with variable arguments. Variable arguments in the sense, like earlier, like in the last session when we have learned about functions, we have learned that if you are mentioning a particular argument in a for a while defining a function, then we have discussed that we have to either pass a value to it or it should have a value by default, in which case you need not pass it again. But what if the user doesn't know, okay, what if the user doesn't know how many types of, how many arguments can he pass, or maybe the user wants to pass multiple number of arguments. All right, so in such situations you can like make use of these variable parameters functionality in Python, so that irrespective of the number of arguments the user passes, it still works, your function will still work. All right, so let us look into that. So I will create a function called as addition. Okay, I do not know number of parameters the user going to pass, right? So for that reason what I will do is I will write something called as star args, like arguments. Star arguments define irrespective of the user can send any number of arguments or he might not even send them as well. All right, so now what I'll do is I'll add result. I'll keep it 0. All right, now what I'll do is if args, which means if there is something in the arguments, if the user is sending some arguments, okay, for args now this is the function that I have defined. So what is this telling? There is a function called as addition. It might or might not take any arguments. Okay, if it is not taking any arguments, this condition will be false and it will not come into this, which means 0 is returned. Okay, what if there are some arguments in this? So those arguments are taken again. Okay, this will be true. Those arguments are taken one at each iteration and they are added to the add result, and the total sum of all the values sent as arguments will be returned to the main program. All right, so let us do some use this function. I'm very bad at naming, please don't mind. Addition. So first thing, I'm not passing any arguments. All right, let us check the result. All right, 0 is returned because we haven't passed any arguments. Now what I will do is I will call this function, with 1 in it, which means there is one argument in that. So now my addition result should be 1, which means my sum should be 1. See that? Yep. What I will do now is I will send 1, 2. Okay, now let us see. So the sum should be what? 1 plus 2, 3. My sum should print 3 now. Got it? Yes, similarly you can give as many number of arguments you want. Got it? Yes. If this star args thing can be interpreted as a list of or a collection of positional arguments, alright, then there is one more facility that we have, which is nothing but double star, and the convention to call these is kwargs. Okay, what I'll do here is I'll mention args not a keyword, just like kwargs also not a keyword. Alright, so in this place of kwargs I can write Python as well. Any variable name would be good. Alright, all I have to do is Control C. But it isn't that simple here in this case. Alright, because this is a different kind of collection. These are named parameters, right? So named parameters in the sense, or named arguments, mean variable name equal to value. This kind of values will be sent to that. Alright, so in which situation this will be the I in this situation will be the name of the argument. So to get the value of the argument, we have to write Python of I. Alright, here the way we pass the arguments will also be different. v1 is equal to this, v2 is equal to this, v3 is equal to this, v4 is equal to this, v5 and v6. Okay, as I told you, I am pretty bad with naming conventions, so just bear with me and just take the point. Alright, now again this function has to return the same value that it has returned while we are sending like a positional argument, like when we were using star args. Alright, let's run and check this. Got it? Okay, for your confirmation, we can also say add name is equal to this thing, add name plus equal to I, and here we are going to see something different. Alright, print my sum. Alright, now it should print all the names of the arguments concatenated and comma the sum of all the values. Names of the arguments and sum of the values. Alright, yes. And one more point to remember is there is no rule that if you are using this kind of notation or variable arguments, you cannot use regular arguments or something like that. There is no rule like that. I can say name1 comma this thing, and I can pass Gautam, and then like this. What I'll do is I'll say name1 plus, I need some space. Yes, so now it should print Gautam space v1 v2 v3 v4 v5 v6 comma the sum of all these values. Alright, did we get it? Yes, this is it for this session. In the next session we shall look into this part of this function. Okay, thank you.